These are the tales and ramblings of two men, their dream of running a successful food truck business and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
Good morning, Skippy.
Morning, Joshua.
Welcome, everyone, to May 1st, another thrilling and riveting episode of Monday Morning Food Truck. How are you?
It's a beautiful winter morning, isn't it?
Winter?
Yeah, isn't it winter over there?
No.
Oh.
Is it winter there?
You were supposed to get snow today or something like that.
I have flurries.
Oh,
I wouldn't really classify it as winter. I'd classify it as early spring. But it's going to be 70 by Friday, so. And hopefully we are staying there this time.
I'm going to guess not.
Well, I'm showing 4 straight days in the 10-day forecast of 70. And 5 out of 6. And the sixth one is 69, so. So we're 70 by Friday, and then it's that way for at least the forecast that I have. So we should be done. Flurries even in May is pretty rare. So
it is very rare. I was reading that as well.
Yeah, so we should be done. Hopefully we're well past the freeze warnings. We had 3 days over here in a row that we had freeze warnings. So all the apple orchards had their fans on and lighting bonfires and stuff. So hopefully not too much damage to this year's crops. I did not light any fires next to my apple trees, so who knows. I wasn't going to get any fruit out of them anyways.
No fruit of the trees?
I planted them last year, so I'm not expecting anything for a couple of years. But
oh, yeah.
I am expecting apples. I followed all the tips.
Hopefully not crab apples.
No. Something Empire and Honeycrisp. Because you have to have 2 different species.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, good to know.
For better yields, you need at least 2 different species for pollination purposes. So there you go. Or another fruit tree. So.
Ooh, oranges.
Bubba has joined us. I don't know that we're warm enough for oranges. Bubba is on and listening. He was homesick today. He messaged me at 9:02, telling me to wake up and get the show started. And then asked if it was starting later than normal, and I said, nope, it's starting at 10, just like it does every time. Except for the one time, so.
Hey, I even posted about it, too.
Yeah. Hope you're feeling better. Or soon, Bubba, so you can get back to working your 2 days a week. And visiting other food trucks. I kid. And we also have Fran with us this morning, who said good morning to us, too, on the chat. For those that are listening on the Spreaker app, you can chat with us. It should have a little tab in your app. Do
you realize that I just thought you were pronouncing it wrong for the longest time? The Spreaker app. I always thought it was speaker.
No, it's Spreaker.
I get it. Yeah. Never made the connection.
Well, you know. Welcome to now, Skippy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm
Yep, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm a lightweight this week. I'm definitely a lightweight this week. I have like 2 events.
This week or last week?
Last week I did good. I was out 5 times.
Well, that's where we usually start.
Oh, yeah, last week. Last week's in the past.
That's what we do. We recap the previous week.
It was good, bad, and ugly. How's your week?
Better than that, I guess.
No, our Brooklyn spot's really heating up. I appreciate everybody coming out there.
Is that the Farm and Home or Farm and whatever store?
Yeah.
Good.
And it's so it's doing really well. Roadside is doing really well. come, I think next Wednesday or a week from this Wednesday, the big boy across the street starts their weekly car shows. So that should help, or that should be able to capitalize on some of that as well. My only concern is like for the next 3 Wednesdays, I'm not there. So, we're just gonna hope for the best.
Is that just because you have other stuff going on?
Yeah, I have subdivisions. This is a very heavy subdivision month. And private events, things like that.
That's good.
Yeah,
it is the season. Yeah, last year May was our busiest month of the year. So,
last year, no, I think June or July was ours.
So, I mean, I say that, but so pretty much May, June, July, and hold on, let me look. If I'm going to say it, I should probably say it right.
Somebody will call you out on it.
Well, I don't know how they would know. But Chris has decided he's no longer listening to the podcast. My employee, Chris. He didn't care for how we ended last week's episode with me talking about the profit first and the possibility of me going down to a solo person working the truck by myself like you. So,
he hated that probably.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He didn't care for that much.
I'm surprised he didn't strike. Bring a sign with him to work and start the picket line.
He might have if he wasn't worried about getting fired, and since he's not hasn't unionized.
How can he be fired? He's a minority owner.
Well, he can still be removed from daily operations. He'll still just be an owner without collecting a salary.
Still get a cut of the losses every
year. That's right. Yeah, he'll still get his 5% of the losses every year. And,
yeah. So instead of sending him a check, you'll send him an invoice. Please pay back your losses.
It's worked out really well for him. God. All right, what was I talking? God, I hate the fucking
busiest
website.
Month.
Yeah, I was pulling it up on my computer, and I hate doing it that way because I don't get the same bar graphs.
Oh, you're killing me.
No, fuck you. Bubba says he's just finalizing his Cinco menu.
Yes, yeah, him and I. Bubba's taco stand will make its debut on Cinco de Mayo Friday. I will also have taco specials for this week.
Yeah? We will probably run something. I don't know what, though. I'm not sure. Last year, it was our busiest month by $300.
Cool.
So, yeah, May, June, and August were all pretty much the same within a few $100.
Yeah.
July was our slowest summer month, which is the way it's always been. But it was way better this year than it was in previous years. Or last year was better than previous years. But we're looking forward to it. We have it's a full calendar. Some interesting events, some new stuff for us that I'm not sure how it's going to go. But we're swinging. We're taking bigger swings this year. So
good.
And hopefully those pay off. We did end up, I don't know if you've pulled your April numbers yet, but we ended up beating last April when I made the adjustment for the catering job we did on Saturday because they paid in February.
We were...
so when I slide that over, we beat it by a couple $1,000s, which is nice.
I did not. I was about $1,500 light.
So yeah, we were 3,000 light in March, and then we're about 25-ish heavy in April. So we're about even for barbecue season, regular barbecue season, as last year. So I can handle that, knowing that we have better weather coming and a very full calendar coming. Feels pretty good. So, but anyway, so sorry, I didn't mean to overtake.
It's all Josh all the time.
Fuck you, Skippy. God damn. I'm gonna get a shirt made for you.
Yes, I would love to.
Just so people will start calling you Josh when you wear it.
So everything is. I mean, realistically, everything is up from May or from March, I should say. So sales are up 40% from March. Transaction numbers are up almost 20%. Average ticket price is up almost 20%. So yeah, it's definitely April's been good. I'm looking forward to May, just like you. May is. What I'm seeing a lot more is if you log into your Square and you go to your home, and it shows you like the last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it says like your customer counts and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of returning customers, which is good. People that have come back numerous times.
You're going based off the website on the computer, right? Not on the phone app? Okay. I hardly ever look at it, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here. So in the last 30 days, total customers were like 333. Now these are customers that somehow Square has captured some sort of contact information for them.
Yeah, these are the numbers I like. So maybe we'll come back to this, but
it's like new customers. Out of the 333, new customers were 268, returning customers 65, average spend per visit 35.48. Positive feedback 5, 0 negative feedback. That's always good. But yeah, these are all ones that they've somehow tracked some sort of contact information from them.
So it's got to be credit cards.
Probably.
And then there's an option for them to enter information too.
Correct.
So if they do I'm guessing if they do a receipt via email or text, then they can track it that way too.
Yeah.
So if someone just pays straight cash, you have like a regular customer that pays straight cash, it's going to register as a new customer every time, you know?
See, I don't know because they can't.
How else can they track it? If they're not entering any information, just handing you a $20 bill every time they come?
Yeah, they can't track it.
Yeah, so there's no way. So it's got to register as a new customer, that person, even if they come every day.
Maybe.
I don't think there's facial recognitions in our...
No, maybe it's not recognizing cash sales. Maybe it's only recognizing card sales. That's kind of where I was going with it because they can track some sort of... They obviously grab some sort of information.
You know, hold on, let me look. So let's go last... I guess the last month we'll do because there was 30 days in the month. Oops, last month. You're correct. That is only tracking credit card customers. So if you go on where it says the net sales, little box right next to that, if you hit last month, which was a 30-day month,
yep,
your transactions are different than your total customers.
Yeah.
So 500 different, about a 500 difference for me.
Yeah, and it brings into your insights and things like that. So.
Yeah. Interesting. So this is why I don't like Squares because every place you look at the same information, it displays differently.
Yeah.
You know? So on my phone, if I pull up my phone and I go to this year versus last year, or even my sales numbers, if I just pull up the main screen, it doesn't do it live. So it compares my current total for the year versus all of last year. So it shows that I'm down in everything except for average check. But on the website here, it's showing current. So this point from January 1st to May 1st this year versus January 1st to May 1st of last year.
Yeah.
At which point we're up on everything. Actually, we're down on transactions, but we're up everywhere else. Which I believe. So it doesn't shock me at all. Just because of how awful the weather is. Has been, so...
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I'm still learning about it, but I think it's cool to see certain things. So we're talking about May. So our May revenue last year, we're up from last year.
For April?
April. Sorry, I apologize. We're down. We're actually only down $400 from last year. So that's good. I didn't realize that. May, for some reason, our April was our biggest month leading into June. So we were lower in we were lower in May by like $4,000. But I
Yeah.
guess we didn't do a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, last year our best month ever was June, or was actually September.
Yeah, September's always been a pretty solid month for us. And then the bottom just drops out in October. It's crazy to see the bar graph.
Yeah,
It's like steady, 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 and then whew, October's like half.
yeah. Our September to October, we're down about 7,000 between
Yeah.
the two.
But yeah, I mean, the weather really, last year, October wasn't a super great weather month. It seems like October all the way until now has just been an awful roller coaster of temperature swings and a whole lot of precipitation. So hopefully we end up with a nice dry summer coming up. Would be a helpful thing.
Yeah, it's been April's been a fun month. Let's move in. Let's forget about the past and move forward to the present.
I mean, I had a pretty good week, if you're interested, but
Yeah, I absolutely. You have no idea how interested I'm in. Like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now, just trying to think about how your week was. I'd like to talk about how wings fell on the floor. I'd like to talk about how wings fell on the floor.
well, first of all, let's start. We'll touch back on 2 weeks ago when I had double booked a day inadvertently.
Yeah,
So,
you and I
We
talked
get-
about that. We didn't really make that broadcast.
oh yeah, I double booked an evening, but it all worked out okay. We were able to move some things, and it was fine.
Good.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
That was last week.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, last week Tuesday. So I think I did mention that I had left my yearly calendar. I use paper calendar. I love my calendar books because I can carry them around me. It's a nice little safety blanket for me. It's easier for me to look at a whole month that way and see what's on. But I was doing some work one evening and left it on the couch, and my dogs had eaten a good portion of it. Among those, the most damaged areas was the last Wednesday, Thursday of every month because they bit from the bottom, right in the middle, and there's a So in that was so we lost a few days of every month. One of those was Tuesday or whatever day it was. So when I was redoing my calendar, I couldn't see the day. It didn't look like there was any writing on it, so I had assumed that it was an open day. So we rebooked it with a subdivision. Turns out we did have it booked, and it all ended up working out okay-ish. We had an opening on Thursday by chance, so we moved the one. Who the hell is that? So we moved the one to Thursday and kept the other one on Tuesday. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Just a second.
So I guess I could sing for everybody, but I don't think that would sound good. What does everybody think about the draft? Draft went pretty well for our good old Lions. Seems like Everybody loves Brad Holmes, that's good. My Patriots did okay, not too bad.
Judas Priest. Oh my God.
How's the dogs?
The dogs are fine. I should have let.
Can I tell you one thing that your new schedule outlook or update picture now reminds me of the Simpsons?
The Simpsons. I thought so too. That's why I liked it. Oh my God. Hi. Do you have a minute so we can talk to you about a growing problem in the area?
Oh, did we just have a door visitor?
Yes, that's why I had to get up, because I got the notification on my phone, and that's why the dogs started barking.
Oh, boy.
They wanted to talk about gun violence.
Oh, sure they
and the
did.
Bible's view on it.
Oh, boy.
I didn't know guns were in the Bible, but I could be mistaken. I cut them off and let them know that I was in the middle of recording a podcast about the devil, and I didn't really have time for them right now, so shoo, go away. What?
Did you make sure to throw your 666 jersey on? Wow. Okay. All right then. So back to where you were.
I don't even fucking know. Oh, the double booking. It all worked out. The double booking was fine. It wasn't a huge deal. It was the second time we were at the subdivision that we ended up moving dates, and it was dead, which is the slowest subdivision appearance we've had this year. I don't know if it was because we moved it. We had to move it last second. But yeah, it was slow, which was a bummer. But it happens. So yeah, I'm trying to take as much due diligence as I can on the rest of our dates, just to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be, so we don't have this happening again. But we did have a Steelcase had reached out to us, wanted us to set up outside of one of their buildings, one of their only facilities that doesn't have a cafeteria. They're expecting 60 to 100 people employee pay. So we get there, and we had gotten a handful of calls the week leading up to it, asking us questions about the menu from employees. So we were pretty stoked that word had gotten around, at least, and that we were expecting some people. And we did. We did a $700 half hour. And then we didn't see anybody the rest of the hour, the next hour. So, and when they came out, they said, yep, they go out about a half-hour shifts, so you should get people every half hour. Yeah. It was a great first half hour. So either people hated the food and they told everybody else not to bother, or those that were going to eat moved their lunches around and came out early, and we just got everybody at once. But yeah, after that first half hour, man, we were ready. We were rocking and rolling. We were almost out of ribs. What's that?
Was Pam back?
Yep, Pam was back.
Oh, Pam.
So yeah, we were there. We sold, I couldn't believe it, the number of half racks of ribs we sold at that kind of, so it was a manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
Which just seemed like an odd lunch item to grab. But yeah, I mean, it was fine, I guess. It was fine.
We've had
so yeah, I mean, after the first half hour, we were expecting, I mean, maybe not 700 every half hour, but maybe a little something closer to $1,000 lunch. So, and then we had the slow evening subdivision. So that day kind of turned into a bummer in a hurry. But yeah, Saturday was Saturday.
You're in the time trainers, weren't you?
Yeah, which was a great event, and I'm going to touch on that more in a second. We also had we cut there's a Tri-Unity Christian school in Granville. They do an annual fundraiser of an auction, and they usually supply food. They reached out to us asking what we could do for pork and chicken and a couple sides. Normally we'd be about $11 a person, give or take. I told them I would do it for them for $8, which still leaves us money, and they get a little bit of a deal for their fundraiser. Here's the kicker. It was for 600 people. So we're looking at 150 pounds cooked protein, and then coleslaw and baked beans for 600 people. It's a lot of effing food. It's a lot of food. And then we're cooking for...
You're going to get a hate mail for this.
Why?
You're going to get a hate mail for this.
Why?
For $8, you did all that for $8 a person?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I get you made your money, and that's fine.
Do the math. How much food does he think I'm in on that? Cost of food in on that. Yep.
A couple $100. A couple $100. It's not.
Well, let's say 1,000.
Well,
I'm still at 4 times cost.
Yeah, you do whole chickens, don't you?
I did not for this.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, still, at most you're at 1,000 for everything.
Correct. But then
they got charged $4,800.
Okay.
I'm still at I'm well under 25% of food cost for the item.
For sure.
And it was a fundraiser.
I completely
So when
understand.
I can lower my prices for things like that, I do. Because it often leads to more business.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like I did it at cost.
No, I'm not saying you did.
Well, you're saying I'm going to get hate mail.
Just because of our audience. I can definitely, that's all. All right.
Yeah, had it not been the church and somebody else asked for that, first of all, I wouldn't have done it. Flat out wouldn't have done it. Because we can't...
It's hard.
One of the only reasons we did it was because they didn't need it hot. So we were able to pre-cook through the week. They said if you can get it to us warm, that's great. If not, they said refrigerated was fine. So we didn't have to do 3 cases of pork. And
right then and there.
Yeah. So that's the only reason we were able to do it. Yeah. Whatever.
Just seems like it seemed like it would have been a lot of work. But if you pre-cooked it, then you should be fine.
Yeah, it really wasn't horrible. I mean, the most time-consuming thing we had was making coleslaw.
Yeah.
Which is a S-ton of coleslaw.
Yeah.
So I think we were at 8 bags of the cabbage mix. Somewhere around there. Because, yeah, they do cup. The serving sizes on the coleslaw is like a cup.
Yeah.
So we cut that down into a quarter cup. Because they were also doing other food. And they had wanted mac and cheese. And I said, absolutely no. You're not getting mac and cheese for $600. I don't care if I can give it to you cold or not. Because I don't trust you to reheat it in a way that it's going to be a decent product. And then to have our name on it. And then we get there and they're pulling GFS mac and cheese pans out of the freezer. I'm like, damn it. Can we put a divider on where my food stops and your food starts? Please. But yeah, that all went fine. It was fine. Now to the mountain bike time trial thing. We did it last year. It was rainy and crappy weather, and they lost about a quarter of their registrants didn't show up for it last year. And we still did a $1,500-$1,600 day. Not great, but not horrible. And we were there with a pizza truck last year, Pennant Pizza. This year, it was going to be us in Pizza Parliament, which is another local pizza truck. I got an email Thursday night that said they were the other truck was not responding to emails, text messages, or phone calls, and that I may be the only truck there, which was great news considering even though I didn't have to have all that protein hot, we still needed to cook and smoke the beans that morning. So the smoker was still full between everything we had going on.
Yeah.
So the thought of doing more was like, ugh. Okay, we'll do our best. The elementary school event we did, we had done some hot dogs. We still had some hot dogs and packages left. So we picked up some more buns, and we were going to roll those just in case we needed them. So we roll in, and they get us parked, and they say, yep, you just need to make sure you leave room for the hot dog truck coming. I said, excuse me? Did you say hot dog truck? I said, okay. We'll just leave those hot dogs in the fridge then. But yeah, we ended up selling out with technically about an hour and 45 minutes left of the event. Really, people were getting out of there about an hour after we sold out. So we only needed about another hour's worth of food. So the question, I guess, is, do you cook the hot dogs anyways? Would you? Would you throw those hot dogs in and sell hot dogs? With a hot dog truck next to you? Skippy? Skippy? You're muted, Skippy.
I'm having all sorts of fucking, excuse my language, problems here. Like, now Mike's going out. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Am I back? Am I back?
I can hear you. I still can't see you, but that's fine with me.
I heard you. You were talking about hot dogs.
Yeah. So would you?
Would I have cooked them? No.
Yeah. You'd follow the food truck etiquette, and had it been any other type of food truck, though, they would have been. I would have been selling them.
Yeah,
100%.
I guess. I'm not big on smoked hot dogs. I tried it one time. No, I tried it one time, and I didn't like them, so I didn't think anybody would want to eat them. That's all.
So we're not really smoking them. We put them in a pan, in a full pan, and put some foil over them, and just warm them up. I mean,
yeah.
They're not any gourmet hot dog. It's just a ketchup, mustard, onion, cheap hot dog as an option. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
So-
I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
Would I have done it? No.
Yeah, and that's where I was. I was like, ugh. And those guys came from the Bad Axe area, so they drove 2 hours and 45 minutes, last minute,
Jesus.
and they just opened. I think they were in their second month or third month.
Oh, so they're one of the desperate ones. Let's find an
Yeah,
event.
so they saw something. Yeah, something popped up, and they're like, "Yep, we're going." But when I had talked to them, it was about a half hour after we sold out. They had done about 350 hot dogs for the day, and they still had a line. So we definitely had money left on the table, but you never know. And the forecast was iffy at best for the day. We were supposed to have rain moving into the area around 12:30, 1 o'clock. We didn't see any precipitation until I was back home. And it was sunny. It was sunny for the first 2.5 hours we were there. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Freaking Saturday, the weather was just so weird, I guess. The radar, you saw rain, you saw everything coming, and it's like, by the time it got to your spot, oh, it just disappears. Hey. Which sucks, because I think more people were looking at the fact that, okay, I'm not going to go out, because we were at a brewery that we've done decent at, that's like an hour away, so it's like I don't really want to waste my time, but every single weather outlet called for 60, 70, 80% chance of rain for the whole time we were there.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to cancel because it was still looking okay, so I kept going, and it was like, I don't think people came out just because they thought it was going to rain. So we didn't do anywhere near what we normally do.
Yeah, considering what the forecast was, it really wasn't bad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it was really a pretty fortunate weekend, weather-wise.
We did a brewery on Friday, and it wasn't downpour rain; it was just misting.
Yeah, which I think is more annoying for me.
Awning installed in my trailer.
Yeah, I just saw our buddy Sean with Mac Attack just got one put on his competition trailer too. So
yeah, he had one, I think.
God, that thing was in bad shape. It looked like it had been on the side of the Beverly Hillbillies pickup truck when they drove from wherever.
Well, Sean's got a new truck now, so we got to he's got to make everything look pretty. But Bubba just got one done on his trailer. It looks really nice.
Yep,
keeps his people dry.
Yeah, I mean he credited his last weekend to that awning because it was raining.
Yeah.
Not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
So it would make me, like, having an awning would make me feel somewhat okay about going out during the rain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because at least people can stand there. Yeah, I could put up a tent if I really wanted to, but then I have to worry. Since I'm the only one, I have to worry about whether it's going to fly away or not. And it's not going to go over my window, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to get. We have a little bit of a tear right at the joint, or where it hits the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm positive it's just from the windier days, and
I've
so
seen
yeah,
that before.
we pull it in a little bit quicker now when it gets windy, just because. I mean, they're designed to move, so they pop a little bit, and every time it pops, I'm like, oh god, is this the time? Or it's just gonna fall off. Yeah, but yeah, that trailer gets rocking with that thing in a good wind, man. It's just a big giant sail.
Yeah.
All right, well that was our weeks. Looking ahead, Skippy, you said you're doing tacos for Cinco de Mayo.
Well, I'm doing taco. I have a busy personal day tomorrow. I got to take the dog to a vet, haircut. Got to help mom. Make sure I give mom some love. I'm honestly only working Wednesday and Thursday, and then we have another Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I apologize. And then we have a competition on Friday and Saturday.
Wednesday, Thursday. What's Friday, Saturday? Or what's the competition? Sorry.
KCBS Smoking the Mitten. It's in Westland. It's the first Westland comp. And before Bubba says anything, what does it pay? Well, about a $200 brisket. So I'm in the hole. So hopefully Wednesday and Thursday go well. And then right, basically I'm leaving Saturday, coming home and prepping for Sunday. We have a little downtown business soiree that has all the downtown businesses like sidewalk sales and stuff like that. So that should be. Last year I sold out in like 2 hours.
So yeah, bringing more food this time.
I think so. Probably. The weather looks somewhat fair. Just depends on where I am. There's good sections of downtown and not so good sections of downtown. So we'll see. And we have Mother's Day in a week from Sunday too.
Yeah. It's like 14 days away.
I know. I always have to look forward. I always have to look forward to those things.
So, I'm sorry. You said you're doing Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not doing Cinco de Mayo, but are you doing something for Star Wars Day?
May the 4th be with you. I was thinking about it, but I can't. I could really get creative and come up with some things, but no, we're gonna do tacos and nachos Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay. So yeah, last year we did, just because we were feeling silly last year. We had done a Star Wars special, the Two Sons of Tatooine, which we did as an open face sandwich. Half of it, so on one side of the bun was pork, the other side was brisket. And I think we did jalapenos, maybe? I don't know, I'll have to go back and look. And then we did nacho cheese on each of the halves. We sold like 6 of them. Like, it was nothing that we had to buy to do. So if someone ordered it, we did it as a premium item and it had a premium price on it. People bought it, great. If not, we're not out anything,
Yeah.
I think we did like 6 of them or something like that.
I like it.
So yeah, we might run those again just for fun, but I like being able to do that kind of stuff where you can take advantage of a certain whatever day without having any additional cost, and you can promote it as a Star Wars Day, whatever.
So I asked my wife to pick up some pork belly. So I was thinking about trying pork belly burn ends for the first time, just to try it. But she got the already cut pork belly.
Oh.
It's just a little bit thicker than like thick cut bacon.
Yep.
So I was thinking about skewering them, and as you were saying, what's any type of food, I just found Obi-Wan kebab piece.
Obi-Wan kebabs.
Like, huh? I like that.
See,
So
I
maybe
had thought this might
maybe I'll
be.
skewer some pork belly.
If I see this food truck name out there anytime soon, I'm going to be pissed off. But I had a brilliant idea. I don't remember what I was watching, but it might have been the Great Food Truck Race, and it popped into my head for a food truck that sells kebabs, and call it Discombobulated.
I like Obi-Wan kebabs better.
Oh yeah. I mean, Disney might have a problem with us rolling that food truck out though, but as a special item, I think it's fine.
I think Disney would be, yes, unfortunately, they would not be happy with you.
Damn mouse.
Frickin' mouse.
Frickin' mouse. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna do something for Friday. Yeah, I mean
Bring your
tacos
fish
seems like
tacos
the
back.
logical thing, but
Your fish tacos were a hit. Bring your fish tacos back.
yeah, yeah, it's just the location.
Oh,
It's
well,
still not been super consistent for us, so it's like, do we want to spend additional money on a spot that hasn't been consistent for us yet? We did do just lunch last Friday, and it was our best lunch that we've had there since in the last 6 weeks. So is that where we're headed, or was it that the anomaly in the year? So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, or if we're
do
gonna do
you?
anything.
Okay, so from my roadside location, right? I sometimes I alternate between Wednesdays and Thursdays. Sometimes I go both days. Um, what do you tell? Do you broadcast it to people when they're coming up to your, let's say, that lunch location? Like, do you tell people, "Hey, I'm going to be here every Friday"?
Um,
And
ish.
and if you don't, do you think that would help?
So yeah, we do. We let people know that if they ask. We don't
Okay.
do it unsolicited. But I mean, especially like at breweries and things like that, people ask if you're there or when you're there next or whatever. And for a place like Wiseman, where we're there pretty much every Friday, we let them know that we're there most Fridays, at least for lunch.
Yeah.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's our lead in to get people to go to our website, Facebook and Instagram, to follow us there,
Yeah.
to see our schedule. So yeah, any spot that we are at regularly, when we have the inn, we just don't do it unsolicited. You know,
Okay.
hey, come back and see us next Tuesday.
Hey, come back! I don't think you're done yet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I think anybody should do that if you're somewhere consistently. And if you're not somewhere consistently, or if we're not in that location consistently, we'll try to let them know a nearby location that we're at occasionally, or we'll prompt them for where they live or where they work, and then give them what our nearest location is or regular location is. So
All right.
when we have the opportunity, we try to give people as much information on our locations as we can. Do you do that?
I do. Yeah, I definitely talk about it because they'll always ask how often you're going to be here, and I definitely will tell them how often I'm going to be there to make sure. And I'll even look at my calendar. Okay, next week I'll be here this day. Now I understand that mine changes. Yours doesn't really. I mean, you're pretty much there every Friday.
Yeah.
Where mine can change just based off of what I have going on. So, yeah, I mean yeah, okay. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, that's what I try to do. Try to tell people where I'm going to be. It seems to help. Ish.
I mean, yeah. How do you track it? I mean, but
Because I see the same. I do see some of the same people
yeah.
that I've told before. So I don't know if that's. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it seems to work. I'll say it works because it's me. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. I just saw, as I said that I was saying, May the 4th be with you. Barbecue food inside Google, and this restaurant, Pappy's Barbecue in Guatemala, showed up, and they do their burgers on black buns.
Oh,
That's their honor of May the 4th.
black buns. All right.
I hope everybody does. Everybody know what May the 4th is?
I don't know. I'd assume so, but maybe that's just because I'm a nerd.
I mean, I'm with you. So, for anybody who doesn't know what it is, Star Wars, they have a saying: "The Jedi, may the Force be with you."
And also with you.
Thank you.
For those Catholics out there.
And so, May the 4th, this month of May, the 4th, is typically considered Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And then the next day, obviously, May 5th, is Cinco de Mayo, or Revenge of the 5th, because of all the stuff you ate on the 4th.
Yes. So maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll do, maybe we'll...
May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th?
Yeah. We'll do a double Star Wars Day instead of doing Cinco de Mayo. But
You better hurry up.
we do have our first, I got plenty of time. We have our first big corporate lunch this week for 175 people.
Biggin.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we're going to do for the day, so 11 to 1, and we'll see how it goes.
So 175 people in 2 hours.
Yeah. No problema.
Sounds like you're looking forward to it. Sounds like
I
you're
am.
looking.
We reduced the menu. We don't do Dorachos. No meat by the pound or ribs or anything like that. So yeah, I mean we can control portions a little bit better that way. I mean we know that we can bring 50 pounds of protein and be covered versus, allowing people to get a half pound or a pound and then not knowing how many people would want a pound of pork or brisket,
Sorry if you hear the dog barking.
barely, but didn't notice it until you said so. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We have 3 more of those after that. One of them being a buffet set up and not off the truck for 500 people. So, these 4 locations are pretty big. They count for about 20 grand. So,
It's awesome.
yeah, and 3 of them are this month. So, May's turning out to be okay, as long as the weather holds and we don't end up with the rest of the 25 days we're open being dead.
Yeah. I know about. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, it should be a good week. We're back at Brew Merchant on Saturday. I'm standing by that. I think that's a good dinner location, but not a location that we should designate a whole day to, which is what we've been doing on Saturdays. Allowing ourselves a little bit shorter of a Saturday and just doing the 3 to 8, and which it's a decent dinner, 3 to 8, but it's but their patio, they've been putting a lot of work into their patio. It is starting to look like an actual place where people would hang out versus an alleyway with some tables. Looking forward to seeing how much better that looks this weekend, and it's going to be beautiful. So hopefully there's people there. But
let's chat about some topics.
All right, I want to hit. I got to hit on a couple of the comments that came through.
Go ahead.
Bubba said the Force is strong with me, and I would agree. Fran says, "Can you make your online?"
Bubba as a Star Wars fan.
Fran says, "Can you make your online calendar a QR code for customers to scan?" We do have a link to our website, we do have our calendar there too, our weekly calendar, which is on a QR code on our smoker.
As do I.
People can get to. And Steve Bubba says a fixed menu for 175. Ish. Nope. I mean, it's mostly our full daily menu for that. So, and they are paying for it. So, we charge more for that than we do normally. So, and for that, for sides and stuff, I mean, we'll push hot sides. Anything that we can't reuse, we push harder. So, yeah, it's a piece of cake. We usually average those checks usually average about $15, give or take, per person. A sandwich and a side, So, he just asked how I price it per person. Typically we'll run a tab, Bubba, for the company, and then with a minimum. So, our typical minimum for a half-day service, just somebody asking for a half-day service, regardless of number of people, it's a minimum tab of $1,400. Obviously, they're going to be well above that. They were looking for a better idea of what total cost would be. So we kind of gave them what we normally see on our average person ordering price. So we settled in right around $15, and gave them a ballpark number of what to expect of about $3,000. So for 2 hours, not a bad 2 hours. So back to you, Skippy. Not a bad 2 hours.
No, not a bad 2 hours. Fundraisers. Fundraisers from schools, fundraisers from, I know you were just kind of talking about that. But,
yep.
You and I have talked about numerous times that you would rather have a flat fee on any event, not just fundraisers, but any event, flat fee versus percentage.
Yep.
Would you rather, it seems like you would, but would you rather give, if they asked you to donate X percentage, let's say it's 10%, because I think the schools are anywhere between like 10, 15%, somewhere around there, or like lower your prices like you did for that one school event, which would you rather do?
It depends on what kind of... So, if it's like a buffet where we're just dropping off food, like we did on Saturday, I'd rather drop the price. Because I don't have to go in and either create new items or change the prices on my entire menu. Yeah. So that's easier.
Okay.
And I will take the easier path, especially for fundraiser stuff that we're not going to do repeatedly.
Yeah.
So I'm creating stuff for one day, and it's just, I don't know if you know this, but I put in a lot of hours. I don't have a lot of free time. Sometimes it's a struggle for me to get our specials in the system more than 5 minutes before we open. So, I'd opt for, if for a buffet, I would lower my prices. Otherwise, I'm all up for a flat fee. I'd rather just donate, $250 than do a percentage of whatever.
That whatever percentage you did doesn't even equal that?
I mean, that's always the chance. Or it could be way more, What if we did $4,000 and But we're saying all this about fundraisers.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Regardless, it makes us look like assholes.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're in it to make money too. So, I mean, they have to...
I limit the number of charity stuff we do and fundraiser stuff we do that we're giving discounts. Like, we do 2, maybe 3. And once I hit it, I will tell everybody else, no, we've met our limit, because even though it's a tax write-off, it's still money coming out of the account. And we've talked about it extensively this year that it hasn't been a great start to the year for either of us, and we are finally starting to get some traction in the bank account, to where we have a little bit of breathing room again. We're not looking as close every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did one last year where it was 10%. And I'm telling you, the people showed up. I mean, we did, I think it was 2.5, 3 hours. We did almost $2,500.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. I didn't even think and it was just like one of those, hey kids, come get your school schedules kind of thing, get your teachers kind of thing. What is that? Like a rally of some sort?
Yeah, like a back to school thing. Yeah, we're doing one in July, I think.
So yeah, and we sent in. I gave money, and it is what it is. But like 10% was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that there are schools like that want to, like, instead of their concession stand being open for hot dogs and stuff like that, they'll invite a food truck in, but then they'll want like 20%.
Yeah.
Or, there's festivals out this way, like Faster Horses.
Oh God.
Huge concert, draws tens of thousands of people, but they want you to do a 60-40 split, rent their equipment. I mean, there's more than just that. That's just what I've told. But then you have the barbecue festival that was probably one of your first up in Silver Lake that wants to do an 80-20 split.
Yep.
And I believe, isn't it all tickets too?
No, that was, I think we had to show them a sales report or something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought
they had gone past tickets. I have not done a ticket event yet. And I've been told
I'm scared to do it.
I don't want to. I'm
scared to do one. Even though if it sounds really, really good, I'm still scared to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wonder people if they'll, if they have minimums. Like, will you? What's the most you'll pay to go to what you think is a good event? I told you Horrocks was 15%.
I took a screenshot of something too. I think we have a lot to talk about in the next half hour.
Okay, what?
We have a lot to talk about in the next half hour.
Get after it.
I took a screenshot of something else I saw, I think on Facebook. It was a comment, or it was on one of the food truck groups. Oh, maybe I lost it. Oh, no. And keep talking, bud.
No, it was 15% just to set up. I know a friend of mine in Grand Ledge that, sets up every Friday. So he must be doing, and he's got employees, so he must be doing well enough to justify that 15%.
Yeah.
No,
so we're doing crap, I can't remember the group. It's not the Lions Club, but something similar. They're doing a fundraiser. They usually have one barbecue truck out of the Caledonia area. They weren't able to do it this year. They reached out to us. So in the past, that truck has donated $600, which they had told the organizer it was 10%. I said, okay, we can do 10%. Because I'm doing the math in my head, and it's like a $6,000 sales day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I can handle getting up 600 out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're he said we'll have a minimum of 300 to 400 people. He said, and it's a fundraiser, and the wallets will be open. He said, whatever you have left over will get bought. He said, you're not leaving with food. I said, all right. So yeah, for that we're doing 10%, and even that I was kind of iffy on, because it's like, well, what if it's pouring rain and no one shows up? And I got food for 400 people.
They all but guaranteed you're going to sell it whether it's or not.
Exactly. It was like, so, hey guys,
where do you want me to put all this?
The email.
So at that point, let me ask you this: do you know who the other barbecue truck was?
Yeah, and I reached out to them.
Okay, so they confirmed at least that it's a decent event. Kind of thing?
So yeah, he doesn't have a real good recollection of it, and he's done it for 3 years. Yeah, but he was able to pull. So he gave me a count of 200, I think, transactions.
All right, well that's good.
So as we know, everybody's not buying just food for themselves; they're buying for their family or whatever. So
I always, when people do that, I always say it's a sandwich and a side. Like that's what I'll go with is like $15.
Yeah. So I kind of doubled the transaction account to get me to a head count, which puts us right around that 400. So
yeah,
I'm figuring that there's people are buying for their spouse or a child and themselves.
Yeah.
So feel pretty good about it. Hopefully the weather will be will be great, and we will probably fill the smoker that day, and hope to feed 500.
Firebox door.
What's that?
Just make sure you shut the firebox door.
Yeah, thanks, Skippy. So, while you were talking about your percentages, in one of the Facebook groups, I don't remember which one it was, truck fees got brought up, and if you charge a minimum to show up.
Yeah.
So then it got to be confusing about what he was actually asking. Is he asking about a minimum? So he shows up to a company, and it was a business park or a set business location that he was talking about. So is it I'm charging you $400 just to show up? Or, so even if they sell $2,000 worth of food, you still have to pay the $400 just for me to come on site. Or is it a minimum? So if we don't hit $400, you're going to make up the difference.
I think that was the food truck training group.
Yeah, do you remember seeing that one?
I do remember seeing it, but
there's been times when I've thought maybe we should start charging the companies that want to bring us out. So like the Steelcase one that we did today or last week, which was, they were saying 60 to 100 people, which is a good lunch for us. That's not, really it's a really good lunch to have 60 people. So it's like, well, do we charge them, $150 to $200 just for us to come out? Just in case it's a complete dump. We're not out everything, or if we only get 5 or whatever. But we haven't really run into a situation where we've been skunked anywhere. So I'm not jaded, Yeah. We've had some that just, weather depending. It's just not a great day, but people still come out, But I kind of like the idea of a minimum. But the reason I brought that up was I wanted to focus on a comment in there from a Stephen Harrell. And I'm sure Bubba will chime in after this comment. Can someone explain the logic behind a truck fee? The way I see it, it makes it not add up. So we go to an event like a car show, and we pay the event to set up. No sales guaranteed, no mandatory tips, etc. Then someone approaches us for a private event with guaranteed sales or a dedicated audience, right? And all of a sudden we want them to pay us. Guarantee a minimum, add specific tips. Costs are incurred at our private event that we don't have at a public one, ? So in their mind, in my mind too, there's no difference between me setting up at Steelcase and me setting up at the gas station. Other than at Steelcase, I have a dedicated audience. That's being advertised to that group.
True. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So what I read out of that comment was he chose to go into an event with an unknown audience, and no fees he said there was a fee to set up. They charge him to set up, but that was his choice to go to that type of event.
But yeah, so that was just an example, like him going to a car show where they charge us to show up, with no guarantee of anything.
You pick your event you go to. If that's what you want to do and you're okay paying that, you hope that when that happens, you're going to get other businesses because of it.
Right.
Like I've gotten from just setting up on my little roadside spot, I've gotten other parties or bookings because I've done that. Now they don't set me up, or they don't charge me to set up, but the village has a permit that I have to pay every year.
Yep.
So
if you go to a private company though, where they're going to advertise inside the company you're going to be there, you're off to a better start before you show up than you would be at your roadside.
I agree with.
So what's the logic behind us charging them for providing us an audience?
Because they provided. All right. Here's it. I got it. Because you made the choice to go to an event. You made the choice to pay the money. You knew what the audience could possibly be.
Yeah, but at a business, you know what the audience is going to be.
But you go to that business, it's only that audience.
You're still making that choice.
But it's only that audience.
Okay.
There's no other audiences that you can possibly drag in.
You're assuming it's private, and most of ours haven't been. The Steelcase one was private, but
I would say that I've never charged a business just to set up.
Yeah.
But I know people who have.
Oh yeah, I know that there's people that won't pull their trailer out unless they have a check in hand already.
Yes. I think Bubba might be one of those if he's and that's fine. He's got the reputation to do it, and he provides great food. So, I'm too new. I guess I don't have. If I had more of a following, if I had 10,000 followers, and I had people, people reaching out to me every day asking me to set up places.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, okay, I feel that I can charge. But now, being where I am, it's not. I would rather take the risk. Because I've been to those. I've been to a factory that had 200 people, and I sold 10 sandwiches.
But yeah, again, how much of that is your host not doing a well enough job, or a good enough job to promote?
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end, so no matter what, we don't know if they want us to put our money on the line. Why won't they do it either?
So you'd be in favor of a minimum overcharging them to show up?
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to charge you $500 just to be there.
Yeah.
That to me that doesn't make sense. But charging a minimum, absolutely.
But saying we need to hit $500
for us to.
So you better be on the horn and making sure everybody knows that we're there, and anybody else in the surrounding area know that we're there. Yeah,
absolutely.
See, and that's where I'm willing to lean more that way. That I could see myself doing that. I don't know.
Because if they're wanting, because I feel that a lot of people don't know what it takes to do what we do and what's on the line for us as a mobile business, and they think it's okay that it's so easy for us to just go somewhere and set up and hope that sales meet what our expectations are. I don't want to go to a lunch if I'm going to make $200 because that doesn't help me. I may go somewhere if I have something in the area that night that I typically will always have a good spot with, or good luck at that spot. But a minimum, I think, is definitely the way to go on that.
Yeah, I think
I don't understand charging to be there.
I think there's ego involved in that. Yeah, and I just don't think that much of myself that. Yeah, I count on my food to cover my bills, not an appearance fee. Because for us, we're going to set up regardless. We're going to run 6 days a week, lunch and dinner most days.
Yeah. Regardless.
So if we don't go to your business, we're going to find a different place to set up roadside or whatever. So regardless, we're taking a risk. I like businesses that can give me a head count, or businesses that do food trucks on a fairly regular basis that have a decent idea of how many people come out. Because then I can adjust food,
I found your post.
You found it? Okay.
Yeah. So I see. Interesting. The interesting is a lot of the other comments that are in here.
Yeah, and that's why I was. I spent most of the time reading through those. But yeah, just an interesting thought. Curious what everybody else says.
$600. She said most trucks have asked for, and here's the thing: is and maybe that's not worded right. Maybe that's their minimum.
Right, and that's what I think. What a lot of the comments were trying to clarify what they were talking about. But yeah, you and I both know trucks that. Big E's in the Chicago area does that. Mm-hmm. He doesn't pull out without a check in his hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he's like, if you want the show, you're going to pay for the show. So,
exactly.
For me, it's convenience. Like for catering, like me having my trailer on site and being able to do a wedding out of my trailer is pure convenience.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's a benefit.
Yeah, it makes life easy.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. On to the next thing. This I will try to touch on as quickly as possible. If it leads into a bigger conversation, so be it. Colton, I think has my employee experience this year. I think we covered it in some of the issues that are the episodes where we're having sound issues.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much of that came in and out or what was missed or not. Colton had asked though. Colton Beveridge. Hey guys, love the show. I have a question for a future episode, which is now. Remember Josh saying he was looking for a new employee before the season started and then found one. Curious if the new employee is still on the truck. If not, why? Was it just not a good fit, or were their qualifications not up to par or something else? I think it would make an interesting discussion about hiring and possible firing. Also about working with new people. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the comment question. So yes, we did bring someone on board. This person had applied. Every year I've posted a job opening, he's applied, and I've gone past him every time because it felt like he was overqualified. He had some executive chef experience, some sous chef experience. So I had passed him up. I needed a person. He was still available. So I brought him on board. Nice guy. Loved to talk. Very personable. Didn't want to make changes to anything, which was my other concern about hiring someone of that executive chef type level. Wanting to make changes to recipes and doing that kind of thing. He didn't do any of that. He said, it's your food. I'm just here to make it the way you want it to be made. So yeah, in that concern, he was always on time. Would do anything you asked him to do. But yeah, he's no longer on the truck. He showed up to work pretty well hammered one day. Was struggling to stand up and to speak unless he was hitting on customers.
Was he on time?
No, he wasn't. He was a couple minutes late,
Okay.
but he had sent a message a half hour beforehand saying he was going to be a couple minutes late. So even then, I mean, but yeah, he was a 15 minutes early on the button every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was out doing some shopping. Chris was on board with him. Chris told me he was going to have him go sit in his car, try to get himself together a little bit and sleep it off or whatever. And he ended up pulling out and sent me a message saying he quit. So,
Oh, wow.
so what's that?
You think he was embarrassed?
I don't know. I maybe, but I think it was as much of it looks better to quit than to get fired.
Fair. Okay.
So yeah, of the, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees I've had, 2 of them haven't worked out. So,
Oh, well, at least it's a winning record.
yeah, one of them was my son, who was great. Would love to have him back anytime. And then, yeah, Pam and Chris. So,
Your son's busy being a college student.
yeah, working at Starbucks. Apparently, he's too bougie for us now.
Probably makes more money.
I doubt it.
Just
Highly doubt that.
So, I don't have any employees. I have helpers. There you go.
Hiring
So-
is the hardest thing, I think, that we have to deal with as food truck people. I know I'm friends with a lot of food truck owners and follow a lot of food trucks in Michigan, and I can't go a day without seeing an ad from one of them that they're looking for help.
Yeah.
Getting people to show up when they're supposed to and on time and do quality-ish work is hard.
So, one of our food trucks over here, a burger truck I talked about in the beginning of this, just opened his first. So he's been a food truck for like less than 2 years. Opened a brick and mortar, and I've told him this. It's not my dream; it's his. So I gave him what I believe. I said, I think you're working. I think you're reaching too early. I think for the building, because he told me how much he paid for it on the land contract. I thought it was outrageous. And now we talked the other day, and he's going through employees like crazy. people that just they'll show up, but they'll want to work the way they think they need to work, not the way they're being told. And I feel for them, which kind of leads me to another question. Let's say you open up a brick and mortar place in the next couple of years. Let's just say.
Okay.
Do you believe that you can charge your current food truck prices at your brick and mortar building and be successful?
Without having or running zero numbers, are we talking just brick and mortar or brick and mortar in addition?
We're talking brick and mortar in addition.
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
Here's
a couple reasons why. Because our portion, like our loaded mac and cheese portion, would probably be a little bit smaller in a brick and mortar because it would be in a bowl, and those are all reusable. So we'd do dishes. We'd have dishes instead of doing everything disposable. So we're going to save a little bit there. That and we can run year round and be open year round. So those additional sales help cover.
Let me ask you this. Are you saying that, let's assume you took your food, everything that was in your food truck and you moved it to a brick and mortar, decided to use the same things. Okay. Let's say it's a small building, don't have room for dishes, whatever. Okay. Would you think that you would need to raise your prices, keep them the same, or lower them if your model was the same?
Well, definitely not lower. Again, without knowing what rent costs, it's impossible for me to say. But I would strive to keep them the same.
Okay. So, in talking with one of the other colleagues around this area, he sells a smash burger, a double patty one, with fries or a meal, we'll call it, for $15.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fries and a drink. Same price he sells it on the food truck for. I thought, along with this other person, that a food truck prices, I guess, tend to be on the higher side than a brick and mortar. Like, if anything, if his brick and mortar does well, then he could choose to increase his prices on his food truck if it was for events or something like that, if it's not just, doing roadside or breweries or something like that. I thought that if I went to a brick and mortar, depending on what the rent was, that my prices wouldn't be able to be the same. Like, I'd have to increase them depending on what your rent is, your overhead, employees, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have that now. So then does your food truck fail because your prices are so far different? Have you thought about that, moving to with a goal of having brick and mortar at some place or another?
No, because the pricing of whatever would be so far down the list of priority items when I start to move that way.
So when you move that, when you start to move that way, then let's say your prices have to go up.
Okay.
Would your food truck prices increase because of your new overhead with your building?
Not necessarily.
So you think there's a chance that obviously your goal is to keep your prices the same, but if you had to increase your brick and mortar prices, you're saying your food truck prices would remain, or possibly could remain, the same.
Yeah. You know why? Because it's two separate businesses.
Under the same umbrella.
But two separate businesses. You don't steal from one to cover the cost of another. If your brick and mortar can't be sustainable on its own, then you shouldn't open it. Don't have two businesses and run one at a loss because the other one can cover it. Because you're not doing any good that way.
No, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you run them 100% completely free of each other. You separate your expenses so that you know what your food truck expenses are versus your brick and mortar expenses. Otherwise, you're going to have zero control and idea of what your actual food costs are or any other costs. And by the time you are to that point where you have that staff, you will have accounting person, or you will have an accountant that you are giving stuff to, and let them do it. But you're still going to have to organize your receipts and determine what goes to the truck, because you can use your restaurant just like Kyle does for his. You're using your restaurant then as a commissary for your food truck.
Yeah.
But you have to be dead nuts on what you're taking out of the restaurant to move over in the accounting stuff.
Like almost having a franchise location.
Yeah.
Or not franchise, but just another location.
So the two things are completely separate, and you can run them as separate. You need to run them as separate entities. So just because you increase prices at one, if I opened another food trailer in a different state, it's not necessarily going to have the same pricing.
No, that's a different state. I'm talking about the same area,
Okay. So if I have multiple trailers, those pricings will all be the same. Because I know the model works the way it is. So for a restaurant, you still have to apply your pricing the way you do for the food truck, where your food cost is 25% of your total cost, or your cost to make it is still 25% of the price.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
And there are more costs associated with a brick and mortar.
Would you? I guess
that's why they make less money.
So you went to Kyle's place and you went to Kyle's food truck. Would you expect prices to be similar?
Similar, yes, but I would understand differences.
Of the two, which would you expect to be lower if that was an expectation?
I don't know. I don't know that I would expect anything. I wouldn't walk up.
I'm just asking.
Okay, you're asking impossible questions.
No, I because it's a goal of yours. I thought that
it wouldn't even be a thought on my radar. I don't look at prices.
Okay.
Ever, anywhere. If I go up to a food trailer, I might glance at them just to make sure I'm not paying $40 for a hamburger. That's but it doesn't register to me that. I don't go up thinking, well, that's overpriced. That's underpriced. They should be charging more.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
I know, but if I were to go to the food truck and the trailer, and if either one was higher or lower, I wouldn't even register. I wouldn't remember. Unless it was double somewhere. I'm talking about there's maybe $1 difference in one or the other.
Yeah.
And you have more costs associated with a restaurant, so I would assume that the restaurant side would be higher. Food trucks are cheaper to run than restaurants.
Yeah.
That's why people open them.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I was just... Because I know it was on your radar at some point or another to have one. Just seeing if you
Not
had...
really. Way down. It's much closer for you. So what are you going to do?
I'm happy where I'm at.
You've called realtors.
I've called owners. I haven't called realtors.
No.
Just had a realtor call me, actually. But for an outing, not anything else.
You've shown interest in property.
Yes. If it was available and something were to... it's not necessarily for a brick and mortar location to sell food. I want to continue to sell food out of what I'm selling food out of. It's more of a brick and mortar to see if a retail spot is feasible yet. That's all. Because that's my goal. My goal is a retail spot with enough parking for food trucks.
What are you going to sell retail?
Barbecue stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to be the barbecue superstore retail store.
So would you only have barbecue food trucks?
No, absolutely not. I have all sorts of food trucks. I would ask that they promote some of our stuff, but there's no fee to set up.
Do I have hookups?
Depends on the area. Depends on the area. If I can find a place that I can tie it in, there's a good chance because I hate generators. But if there's not, then better be a quiet generator. I don't like loud ones. Sorry. You will not be invited if you have a loud generator.
No. All right, we got 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
What you got?
I thought pricing is just it's ever changing. So I loved your opinion on it. Thank you. Thanks.
I'm already paying rent. I'm paying $3,000 a month in rent. So if I had a restaurant, like an old fast food restaurant, where I could get it for the same price a month, then yeah.
I can't wait for you to be able to make a profit.
I don't. I already do. Have every time.
Just kidding. Fine. More of a profit where you don't have to worry about those.
Well, it's going to get reinvested. It's not going into my pocket.
True. It's going into your partner's pocket. Chris is going to get money now.
It's going to trailer number 2.
Let's talk about trailer number 2. What changes? Give me the top 5 changes you'd make off your current one.
Well, it's not the same type of trailer. No porch.
Are we bringing under pressure back in, or back out of the?
It's not going to have a smoker on it.
Okay, so it's just a basic vending trailer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same length, no porch. 2 order windows, and pickup windows. Double sandwich prep areas, 2 burner stove, double warmers. Yeah.
And this one will be mainly for what? Festivals?
Yep.
Cool. Because then you'll have to start worrying about employees.
And then trailer 3 will be Sweet Racks Express, which will just be a small. It'll be big enough to hold a sandwich prep table, cooler, and a warming cabinet.
Okay.
And that one we'll use to roll out to our lesser roadside locations and stuff, where we do good enough business, but not a real need to pull in the big giant trailer.
I've got the smoker on the back. I don't know if this happens to you, but we both have the smoker on the back of our trailer. Mm-hmm. You ever get asked, "Where do you smoke all the meat from?"
More often it's, do you cook everything on there? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's your answer? Yes, of course.
Everything. We cook everything on there.
Well, this has been an enlightening episode, Mr. Hans.
Enlightening?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
every conversation with you is enlightening.
I am like Buddha. Or Gouda, one of the two.
You're Gouda, all right.
Yeah. We do have we have one person one item away from completing their around the menu. So.
Do you?
Yep.
I know you really haven't talked about it.
There's not much to say. We got, 25, 30 people, I think, in it.
All right, awesome.
A couple of them are pretty close. It's been a lot of fun for them. So,
what's the prize?
There will be a T-shirt, which we are working on designing currently. Those won't be handed out until the end of the year. Just so I can do one order versus ordering single T-shirts at a much higher price.
Yeah.
And then still throwing around the idea of doing a participant type luncheon or something like that. So
cool.
Yeah. It's been good. People like it. A lot of people trying things they had never tried or would try normally. So overall, a success.
Good for you.
How's yours road trip going?
Fair.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I have, I don't know, probably 10, 12 people in it. But I find that more people are just getting what they're used to.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have some people that...
They don't want to venture off to peanut butter land yet.
Yeah, they I have one guy that's saving the Presley for the last thing. But, yeah, I mean, most of our regulars, they'll most days they'll come in and get what they normally get, and then every once in a while they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to check something off the list today." So, I asked you to remind me about Costco executive memberships.
Yeah, how's Costco executive membership going?
So you get 2% cash back in what it's a store voucher.
Yeah.
The way they send them out is awful. They come in what looks to be junk envelopes in your mail.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of you missing them is high. According to the website, once they're gone, if you throw them away, they're gone. They come right around the same time as your renewal, so you kind of know when to look for them. This is my 3rd year on the executive membership. I have not gotten a voucher yet. I was in the store last week, give or take, and someone says, "I assume you already have the executive membership." I said, "I do, but I have never gotten a voucher." She's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I have never gotten a voucher, and I've scoured my mail during the time of my renewal and emails, and I have never seen one." She's like, "Oh, you should go over to customer service." I said, "Okay." So off I went, and she pulled up my account. She's like, "Holy crap, those are some of the biggest ones I've seen." I said, "Thank you." She's like, "Is your address correct?" I said, "Yep, I get all my other stuff." She's like, "We can resend these out now." So they cap it at $1,000 a year. It's not 2% off or 2% on everything, but most things. So my total, I think the first year was like $800. The second year was $700. And she said, "I'm at about $700 right now for this year that finishes up next month." So I should have 2 very large Costco gift card voucher things coming in the mail any day now.
Sorry to go a little bit past this, but let's talk about Sam's Club real quick. So you can do a business membership, and then they pay you back cash.
Yep.
Here's what I love. It's Sam's Cash, so it's the same thing as Costco.
Yep.
Here's what I love about Sam's though is I can go there and they have scan and go, so I can just scan everything and pay for it online and walk out. I can choose to use my Sam's Cash right then and there. Once I have enough built up to where it moves over.
So kind of like GFS, where you can use your points.
Their app is so much better than Costco.
Yeah. And
if Costco had the same type, at least, you could at least see where you were on your.
Well, I can see my live. It updates live if I log in.
Oh, yeah,
but
you
they have to mail them to you. That's the only way they do it is mail them to you.
I like the fact that I go in there, I got a $600 order, and $50 off.
Yeah.
So I haven't used my GFS points ever, so I just saving them up, I guess.
Do you know how many you have?
Oh, enough for.
Are you close to 91,000?
No.
Oh.
Close. I think I'm in the 60s.
Get that check.
I don't purchase enough as it is.
So yeah, that's cash. That's not just Gordon cash. So if you hold out for the 91,000, that's a check in your hand.
That's what they keep telling me to do.
That's the best way to do it.
I wish Costco had a good ordering system, a good app.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. At least you could see what's going on. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, we are over, people.
Yep. So love everybody.
Everybody have a good week. Skippy, good luck this week. Hopefully the weather comes and stays. Oh, it's raining again here. Awesome. Yeah, we got sunny weather coming. Nice warm weather. Should be great for food trucks. So everybody have a good week. Skippy, have a good week. Everybody follow us on all the places, Facebook and YouTube. Those videos are coming back on, everybody. I just posted 2 this morning from the last 2 episodes. So if that's the way you listen normally, you can go back there now that we got the sound figured out. Anything else, Skippy?
Nope. Peace out.
Peace out, everyone. Goodbye. Oh.
Recording stop.
Somewhere. Hello? Skippy?